Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, was one of the most attractive women to have ever existed in the world. She led a life filled with power, love, and death. Some considered her a seductress, while others saw her as a true queen. This is the untold story of Cleopatra. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC in the city of Alexandria. In ancient Egypt, she was believed to be a descendant of the Macedonian generals of Ptolemy, making her a part of the Hellenistic dynasty that had ruled Egypt for the past 300 years. Interestingly, the people of Egypt did not react negatively to this situation and accepted being ruled by a Greek-origin family for 3 centuries, even without learning the ancient Egyptian language. From a young age, Cleopatra received a solid education and always showed a keen interest in statecraft. At one point, her father, Ptolemy XII, even appointed her as his co-ruler as she grew older. Cleopatra's beauty became apparent. Being of Macedonian descent, she had fair skin, which set her apart in a land like Egypt. However, her beauty was not just skin deep. She possessed a sharp intellect, being fluent in 9 languages, including the ancient Egyptian language, which her family had neglected to learn for generations. Cleopatra used this linguistic ability to connect with the Egyptian people and gained their affection. When Cleopatra was 18, her father, King Ptolemy XII, passed away. In his will, he wished for Cleopatra to marry her 10-year-old brother and jointly rule the country, following a family tradition. The Ptolemaic dynasty, in order to preserve their lineage, avoided marrying Egyptians and instead engaged in incestuous marriages. Indeed, Cleopatra, being 8 years younger than her brother, married her 13th brother, Ptolemy, and began to share the throne with him. However, as time went on, the 2 siblings and spouses couldn't get along. Cleopatra, by her brother and those around him, was sent into exile in Syria. Naturally, she was not a woman to accept this. One of her supporters created a rebellion against her brother at the same time as war was looming. In the year 48 BC, Julius Caesar, the sole ruler of the Roman Empire, arrived in Egypt. Cleopatra considered meeting Caesar to win his favor. However, she could anticipate that the 13th Ptolemy and his followers would prevent her from meeting Caesar. With her cleverness, she found a solution. She wrapped herself in a carpet and had herself presented before Caesar. When the gift carpet was opened, Caesar was astonished to find Egypt's queen inside. He was deeply impressed not only by her beauty, but also by her intelligence and courage. Thus, one of the most sensational relationships in history unfolded between the Roman emperor and the Egyptian queen. Cleopatra, with Caesar's support, managed to eliminate her brother and husband, the 13th Ptolemy, in the war and became the sole ruler of Egypt once again, following tradition. She married her younger brother, the 14th Ptolemy, who was 13 years old at the time. She continued her relationship with Julius Caesar and had a child from this relationship, a son they named Caesarion, or Little Caesar. History suggests that this closeness between Cleopatra and Julius Caesar was seen more as a relationship of convenience from Cleopatra's perspective, rather than a great love story. This is because, when the two met, Cleopatra was 21, while Caesar was 52. Through this relationship, Cleopatra dreamed of uniting with the Roman Empire, the superpower of the ancient world, and gaining control over almost the entire known world. She even contemplated making her son, Caesarion, born from this relationship, the heir to the empire. To ensure Caesarion's position as the first heir, Cleopatra did not hesitate to eliminate her younger brother and husband, 14th Ptolemy. However, the assassination of Caesar in 44 BC in the Roman Senate forced her to temporarily postpone these ambitions, and she returned to Egypt. Following Caesar's death, the Roman Empire began to be jointly ruled by Octavius and Marcus Antonius. Octavius ruled the western part of the empire, while Antonius governed the eastern part. In 41 BC, when Antonius visited Egypt, it is rumored that he fell in love with Cleopatra at first sight. Marcus Antonius and Cleopatra started living together in Egypt, and eventually got married. The Roman Senate believed that Marcus Antonius, by merging the eastern part of the empire with Egypt, was planning to establish a new empire. The Senate was also alarmed when Antonius started donating some of the revenues of Roman provinces to Cleopatra. This caused a further rift, and Cleopatra was declared a seductive woman with a manipulative mind and the greatest enemy of the Roman people. In addition to this, the Western Roman Emperor Octavius declared war on the Egyptian kingdom. Conflicts reached their peak the following year. In the Battle of Actium, Cleopatra and Antony lost against the forces of Octavius and were forced to flee Alexandria. For both of them, it was the end of everything. Antony took his own life on August 1st in the Roman manner. With his sword, Cleopatra's method of suicide, which occurred 12 days later, was as unique as her life, according to rumors. She chose death by allowing a venomous snake to bite her. Caesarion, the son of Caesar and Cleopatra, fell into the hands of Octavius. Octavius considered him one Caesar to many and had Caesarion executed. Today, what is known about Cleopatra is largely based on accounts written by Octavius, who despised her. However, some historians suggest that in reality, Cleopatra was not the person depicted in these accounts. Roman historian Plutarch mentioned that she was more renowned for her intelligence and culture than her beauty, and that she took numerous steps to improve the lives of the impoverished people of Egypt. So, what was the real Cleopatra like? Firstly, she was short, fair-skinned, and had distinct physical features. The most concrete evidence of Cleopatra's physical attributes is a statue created by the sculptor Stephanos when she visited Rome at the age of 23. The best source of information regarding Cleopatra's facial features is a coin with her portrait that is preserved in the Berlin Museum. Cleopatra lived a short but eventful life. She is remembered in history as the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt and a legendary queen.